What's the Scoop returns, as today we will be focusing on cards from BT15 and BT16, as Exceed Apocalypse is going to be just right around the corner for us here in the West, but also BT16 still has some cards that maybe you haven't seen yet. Today's focus is obviously going to be on, as if you have noticed from the thumbnail, the X-Antibody lines, as we focus on the Digimon released that focus around Digimon Seekers and their protagonists. So, as always, hit that subscribe button, guys. Sit down, have a little bit of some time for yourself as you become informed, and we'll see what's the scoop with BT16, 15, and knowing the X-Antibodies. As we begin today's video, we're going to be looking at the in-trainings. As usually I look at the eggs last, however, in this case, I think it's more appropriate to look at the whole lines down and finish with the tamers, as Doraemon and Kyokomon return as new 2 level 2s. And as if we were to read them, Kyokomon reads as follows: during the opponent's turn, once per turn, when a Digimon becomes suspended, you draw 1. And Doraemon, all turns, once per turn, when another Digimon with blocker is deleted, you gain 1 memory. Moving into the rookie lineups, obviously these lines have appeared before, so their lines will be somewhat standard, but bring new elements to assist each of their Digi-Evolution lines. As Dorumon and Ryudomon return, however, this time they are dual color, as Dorumon is in purple and black, as Ryudomon is in green and black. Both also have additional normal cost to Digivolve on top of any level 2 for a cost of 1, but have their special evolution conditions for 0, allowing them to Digivolve into their respective eggs. Starting off with a Dorumon, it Digivolves from Dorumon, obviously at a cost of 0. At the start of your main phase, by placing one Kosuke Kisakata from your hand as this Digimon's bottom Digi-Evolution card, until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon can't leave the battle area other than by deletion. Its inheritable effect: all turns, this Digimon gets 1000 DP. Moving on to Ryudomon here, it Digivolves from Kyokomon at a cost of 0, and also has a start of your main phase effect by placing one Shu Yulin from your hand as this Digimon's bottom Digi-Evolution card. This Digimon isn't affected by the effects of your opponent's Digimon until the end of their turn. All turns, once per turn, when this Digimon becomes suspended, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers with a play cost less than or equal to this Digimon. Play cost. You don't want to forget the play cost. Now we move into the champions for the line, obviously being Darugumon and Ginryumon. Both return as dual colors as well to match their corresponding rookies, and with a play cost of 5 for Darugumon and a play cost of 4 for Ginryumon, and level 3 from any level 3 black-purple for 3 evolution cost for both Darugumon and Ginryumon. Both Digimon seem to be carrying the normal dual color effective evolution requirements as we go up the ladder to keep them from being a little bit less viable as generic is. As we look at Darugumon first, it Digivolves from Dorumon or a level 3 with Sons of Chaos trait for a cost of 2. The keyword that finally appears in this set in the brand new one is collision, and I'll just read this one off because it is new. During this Digimon's attack, all of your opponent's Digimon gain blocker, and the opponent's Digimon block if able. Moving on to its on play and when Digivolving effect, by trashing one card in your hand, you draw 1. Then if a Tamer with the Sons of Chaos trait is in this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards, until the end of your opponent's turn, one of their Digimon gains start of your main phase. This Digimon attacks. Then we also have the inheritable effect of just additionally all turns, this Digimon gets 1000 DP. As we move into Ginryumon, it Digivolves from any level 3 with the X-Antibody trait as well as Digi-Police trait for a cost of 2 and carries blocker as its additional keyword. On play and when Digivolving, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. If a Tamer with the Digi-Police trait is in this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards, that Digimon can't unspend until the end of their turn. As it's inheritable, all turns, once per turn. When this Digimon becomes suspended, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers with a play cost less than or equal to this Digimon's play cost. As we're going to move into the Ultimates, or the level 5, but before that, I just want to let you guys know that if you're here, just let you guys know that you're informed, making you more informed than someone else, and also showing your dedication to finishing what you start. Now we're going to move into the level 5s. We have Hisaryumon and obviously Dorugreymon or Dorugramon, depending on how you want to pronounce it. But we have them both returning, dual colors as well to correspond with the line, and obviously going to support both of their different strategies. Also, their inherent level 4, generically level 4 evolution cost. So, obviously not trying to be splashable. So we are going to go into them, as we're going to actually start off with Hisaryumon this time, as it reads as follows. That it Digivolves from any level 4 with the X-Antibody trait / the Digipolice trait for a cost of 3, and it carries the blocker keyword as well. All turns, when an effect suspends another Digimon or Tamer, if a Tamer card with the Digipolice trait is in this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon card with the Beast Dragon or Digipolice trait in your hand without paying the cost. All turns, once per turn, when an effect suspends another Digimon or Tamer, unsuspend one of your Digimon with the Beast Dragon or Digipolice trait. Now, moving into Dorugreymon, we all have a similar thing with a Digivolution from level 4 with Dorugamon in its name, or with the Sons of Chaos trait. And it costs only 3 for that evolution. It carries collision as well. And then its effect, all turns, when an attack target is switched, this Digimon with a Sons of Chaos trait Tamer in its Digi-Evolution cards may Digivolve into a Digimon Digimon card with the Beast Dragon, Undead, or Sons of Chaos trait in their hand without paying the cost. And then all turns, once per turn, when this Digimon deletes another Digimon, you may play one card with the X-Antibody or Sons of Chaos trait and play cost of 5 or less from your trash without paying the cost. Very, very good effects. As we finally move into the boss Digimon of these two lines, as we see 2 of them returning, as we would see the new Dorugoremon and the brand new Oriumon to support both of these strategies. And they read as follows, as we have Dorugoremon, which Digivolves from any level 5 with Dorugreymon in its name, or with a Sons of Chaos trait at a cost of 3. It carries collision, and it also carries blocker. When Digivolving, if a Tamer card with the Sons of Chaos trait is in this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards, you delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon or Tamers. All turns, once per turn, when another Digimon is deleted, you may unsuspend this Digimon. And we move into the new Oriumon, which Digivolves from any level 5 with the X-Antibody / Digipolice trait for a cost of 4, and it carries blocker. And when Digivolving, if a Tamer card with a Digipolice trait is in this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards, you return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon or Tamers to the bottom of the deck. And all turns, once per turn, when this Digimon becomes suspended, you may play one Digimon card with the Beast Dragon or Digipolice trait and 5,000 DP or less from your hand without paying the cost. And we finally move into the Tamers that allow these strategies to move forward, as we have Shuyu Lin. And we have, oh man, I don't want to blank his name, Kosuke Kisakata. As we're going to talk about both and explain what they do. Both are also mind linkers, so if that makes that a little bit easier for those who know what mind linking is, it's one of their special abilities. Both carrying the security effect, obviously, to play them without paying the cost. I'll start with Shuyu Lin. So at the start of the main phase, if you have 2 or less memory, you'll obviously set it to 3. She carries Mind Link with one of your Digimon with X-Antibody or the Digipolice trait. As her inheritable effect is, all turns while this Digimon has the X-Antibody or Digipolice trait, it gains Alliance and Reboot. End of all turns, you may play one Shuyu Lin from this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cost without paying the cost. And then for Kosuke Kisakata, you have the same effects. He also is a memory setter, putting you from 2, if you have 2 or less, to 3, and he's a mind linker as well, but focuses on X-Antibody or Sons of Chaos traits. Then you have his ult turns. While this Digimon has the X-Antibody or Sons of Chaos trait, it gains Piercing and Blocker. And at the end of all of the turns, you may play one Kosuke Kisakata from this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards without paying the cost. And those are all the cards for both of the X-Antibody lines. Yes, there are support cards, but we wanted to focus on Digimon because these are actually the most important from what's need to be read. So, what's good here? Well, there's a lot going on, as I do think that both are very integral to different decks. I think that the Dorumon line is actually really, really good, as now the Dorumon deck, specifically your Dorugamon, has now more options, as it didn't really have many before. Even with the new support that came out of BT13, the deck still felt very lackluster. However, with a new Dorugorumon and a little bit more of, I'm going to say, board control with the new collision keyword, we have a very interesting situation where this deck is actually going to be somewhat playable for sure. However, I do think it still suffers from the old X-Antibody issue of being maybe too slow at times. But hey, we'll see where it goes. Focusing on Shu Yulin and the new Oriyumon line, I think it's a good addition. I think you can arguably play now Oriyumon as its own deck, which wasn't really playable before. Because effectively there was only the one line of the Ryudomon. Now with two extra lines or an additional line, you can kind of make it work. The bigger question is if it's splashable with more of the Digipolice cards, and it is to a degree, because the Digipolice traits are important. This allows you to effectively use like the Commandramon, the Brigadramon, the Cargodramon from BT14 as your supplementary megas, I would say, or supplementary cards to bulk the engine of the Ryudomon deck up. So you are able to play this at like pseudo full power is the best way I could look at it. But yes, it does allow you to do that now. And pretty much Shu Yulin giving the deck Alliance is really, really good, because I think they were lacking in having the ability to just do lots of checks. So it does help with that. However, let's talk about what's not so good. So for this, there's not really actually that much to talk about, because I actually think this is a good line of support no matter how you look at it. And I do think it supports both strategies. However, if we look at the grander scheme of supporting maybe the Seekers decks, I don't think they do it that well, except for maybe Shu Yulin herself. And the reason why is the Ryudomon line doesn't really help the Digipolice deck as much. I think you'd still rather play more Commandramons, as I think the line itself doesn't really support it too much. So, it doesn't really help. Maybe, if anything, the Oriyumon helps a lot, so it lets you go into things, and then Hisaryumon lets you go into things. So maybe those two, but Ryudomon and Ginryumon don't really do much. But Shu Yulin herself is absolutely fantastic. I think her ability to be a memory setter, but more importantly giving Alliance and Reboot is just really good, because you can add pressure. Instead of swinging with your body slowly, you now can add pressure that wasn't available to something like a Brigadramon. So there's that. And we move into Kosuke. I think one of his problems for the Sons of Chaos deck is that his support is very good to finally line up with all the remaining X-Antibody support for Dorumon, Dorugamon. So it has that covered, but it doesn't have it covered when it comes to taking care of the Sons of Chaos deck, because AG on his own would rather use the Dark Animals for the most part. And even the new related Marvin Jackson that's going to be released in BT15 alongside Shu Yulin, he focuses on machines and cyborgs. So at that point, it's kind of like they're not really lining up together. They'd rather play with other decks. So I really do like that generic applicability that Bandai has given to a lot of these strategies. So yeah, it just means that they're not really going to be good at supporting the same theme deck, except for maybe the cards from the Digipolice deck. I just think you'd rather play other options, because you get more benefit from it in the long term. But you could put together hybrid decks like that, like all just a bunch of the Sons of Chaos. I don't think it wouldn't not work. It would just be a little weird looking. But other than that, guys, that's all I've got today, as we have taken a look at the Boss Lady and the Boss Man, as they are basically the top dogs for their groups, and they're trying to get their jobs done. And obviously, if you haven't seen the Seekers trailer, it gives away a little bit of the kind of how the story works. But yeah, that's pretty much what we've got today, guys, as we have covered a lot of what's in store for both of the BT15 and BT16 sets, and we'll give you a bit more knowledge to have than others, and you'll see what's important about the X-Antibody lines. And you can always refer to this video if you ever just need a quick reference point. So as always, this is Brad from the Ed Army signing off, and for all of you out there, to sign on.